I recently just got back from a vacation to St. Augustine with my best friend Grace, and I just thought it would be a good idea for me to share 10 different things that you could also do when you go to St. Augustine. We were there for a total of 4 days. We left on a Friday night and we came back Monday. So let's get on with the 10 things that you can do when you go to St. Augustine. So the first thing you could do when you go to St. Augustine is go to the beach. And on your way to the beach, you're gonna drive through downtown St. Augustine, which is literally so pretty. And lucky for us, we actually chose a weekend that was really sunny, great weather. It was kind of hot, but it was perfect for the scenery. But whenever you go to the beach, you drive through downtown St. Augustine, and then you're gonna drive over a drawbridge, and pretty much you just get this beautiful view of the water, the land, just all the pretty buildings. And then if you look behind you while you're driving over the drawbridge, you can see Flagler College, and that college is just, I have so many adjectives I could use, but I can't think of any good ones right now. It's just so pretty. And honestly, going over the drawbridge was so cool because at one point, Grace and I actually did get stopped, and then they had to lift the bridge to let the tall boats go through, and I think it took maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but we did get to watch the bridge, and I thought that was cool because I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've ever seen a drawbridge in action. So when we got to the beach, Grace actually wanted to go surfing, so we stopped by the surf station surf school, and something that we didn't know is that this surf school station place that we could rent surfboards from was actually not on the beach, and so pretty much they let you rent out a surfboard, but then you had to bring it to the beach yourself, so like tie it to your car. The issue was that we didn't have any ratchet straps, and so we literally had to go to Walmart and buy like this cheap $10 ratchet strap and then go back to the surf shop so that way we could rent out the board, and then we had to tie it to the car. And another crazy thing is that we also didn't know how to use ratchet strap, and so we were just trying to tie it like normal, and then some guy pulled up next to us and told us that we were doing it wrong, so he showed us how to use ratchet straps. And we only rented out one board. We got an 8-inch soft surfboard for Grace because Grace is the only one that wanted to go surfing. The beach we went to was on A Street on A1A Beach Boulevard, I think is what it was called. And pretty much what's special about this beach is that you can drive onto the beach. I don't know how loud this wind is, but we're at the beach right now. We're on A Street in St. Augustine, and we just had a really hard time trying to figure out this surfboard situation. Grace wanted to go surfing, so we went to the surf station to rent one, and we had to go to Walmart to buy a ratchet rope, whatever it's called, and then a guy had to come help us put the surfboard onto her car. Now I'm just on the beach, and Grace is trying to find some good waves. Oh no, that's not Grace. And the sand here is very different. I'm used to our white sand along the Emerald Coast, and this sand is there's a lot of grains, and there's a lot of seashells and particles in the sand. Later on, we're gonna go see Flagler College and take a little tour there, and then we're gonna go to a bar tonight. So we actually parked in a parking lot outside of the beach, and then we had to walk the surfboard to the beach. For people that don't go surfing like me, while Grace was surfing, I pretty much just sat on the sand by myself. I laid on a towel. I kind of just soaked in the sun. I people watched, and I put my feet in the water just for a little bit just to feel like what kind of sand St. Augustine had, feel the water. And the Atlantic Ocean is a lot more rough than I'm used to because I do live on the Emerald Coast, and the waters here aren't that rough, so I can just stand on it and like I'll just have a couple waves just push my feet. But I'm pretty sure these waves on the Atlantic Ocean could knock me over, and I could probably drown because I am actually not the greatest swimmer. So what I've noticed about the sand is that it's very grainy and it's just broken seashells versus our Emerald Coast beaches are very fine. So that was very different. The water is also very, very salty because whenever Grace came out from the water after she was done surfing, her hair was really crunchy. Like it was dry and crunchy, and she just had to rinse it out before it would feel somewhat normal again. The second thing you can do while you're at St. Augustine is you could take a tour at Flagler College. You can book your tour on the website. They actually offer it twice a day at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. We decided to do the 2 p.m. tour because we went to the beach that morning and we wanted to not rush our beach adventure, so that way we can just enjoy ourselves and then just get to the tour whenever we felt like it. Grace actually wasn't done swimming until 1 o'clock, so it's a good thing that we did the 2 p.m. tour. But anyway, this Flagler College is literally the most beautiful building I've ever seen for a college. I'm kind of jealous I didn't go there, but unfortunately this is a private school and it's like $40,000 a year just to go there. But just the courtyard was amazing. There was a lot of plants. There was a nice water fountain in the middle. It was really, really pretty. And then you even see the 2 water towers whenever you walk in. It was great. The lobby, oh my goodness, the lobby. You could see like the dome ceiling and all the paintings on the wall. The building just looks so old, but it's like the pretty kind of old. The layout of the school was pretty from what I saw. The paintings, the artwork, even the furniture looked old, but it was still amazing. I felt like I was seeing a building straight out of the movie. And the fact that the school literally has its own tour is also amazing, because apparently this place used to be Flagler Hotel and then they just turned it into a college. And so this tour was actually given by one of the current Flagler students, and the tour guide that we had, he was a sophomore at the school, and he pretty much just gave us like a rundown of the history of the building, like how it was a hotel first before it became a college, Flagler himself, his wives, and then he also told us the history behind like the different paintings and the different artwork on all the walls and the ceilings. And fun fact, there's Thomas Edison clocks in Flagler College. There's actually 2 of them, but I just thought that was so cool that the Thomas Edison himself touched those clocks. And then my favorite part of the entire tour was whenever he gave us the history background of the dome ceiling in the lobby, and it's just so detailed and so intricate. Like I wonder how long it took them to paint all these. I probably should have asked when I was on the tour, but I was just enjoying what I was seeing. I could stare at that for a very long time. The only thing that I was upset about with the tour, not really upset, just like kind of disappointed, was the fact that we only got to see the lobby. We got to see this kind of secret tour room. We got to see the dining hall and then the courtyard. But that's pretty much it, because the courtyard and the lobby is open to the public. The dining hall you had to be on the tour for. This place is so nice. Look how pretty it is. Look at the details on the walls. So I was most disappointed because we didn't get to see any dorm rooms. We didn't get to see any classrooms. So that's what I was looking forward to. Like I wanted to see what student life was actually like. And another cool thing is that they said they have Harry Potter week sometimes. I don't remember the full details of that, but just hearing Harry Potter was cool because it literally looks like it could be a Hogwarts school. So after you take your tour at Flagler College, you can also walk around downtown St. Augustine. We literally went from the tour and just started walking around because Grace got hungry, and there are just lots of local shops, local eats around there, and there are just so many options that it was kind of hard to choose like where we wanted to go in and what we just wanted to see. But the main goal after the tour was just to find something to eat, and so where we ended up eating was Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, and this place was kind of fancy. I think it was $2 signs. It had to be $2 signs. It was very open. There were lots of windows, and for food I decided to order the crab cakes, and I thought it was really tasty, but I'm glad it came with only 2 because one was definitely enough to fill me up. And I don't remember what Grace got. She got some kind of shrimp curry stuff. And then after you have a nice lunch or dinner in downtown St. Augustine, you could go shopping, because like I said, there's a bunch of local shops around there, and we didn't really go in too many shops just because we didn't really see any shops that were interesting to us, but we did go into one. We went into Earthbound, and I actually bought a $30 journal. So this is the journal I got at Earthbound. I think it was really cute. It was the second to last one on the shelf, so I'm sure it was popular for a reason. That's not why I got it. Like I actually did look at all the other journals, but this one looked the best. And the paper in here is very thick. Like it feels like the kind of paper that artists use whenever they're painting. And I really like journals that have no lines because I feel like it gives me so much more freedom to jot down my ideas and maybe just write a simple diary entry. I don't know yet, but it is currently blank. So yeah, this is my journal. If you do decide to walk around downtown St. Augustine, I highly recommend that you try and find parking sometime in the morning. Grace and I were able to find decent parking around 9:30 to 10 o'clock in the morning. We also went on a Sunday, and Sundays are free parking in certain areas. Not all areas, but certain areas, but we were able to find a parking spot that was free on Sundays. We obviously didn't go to downtown St. Augustine every morning. The day that we had to do the Flagler tour from the beach, we actually showed up at a time when someone was leaving. And Grace and I actually were really lucky on this trip in the fact that every time we were trying to look for a parking spot, someone was leaving, so we didn't have to park very far at all. And there were just easy parking spots where we could just pay a quick fee and then leave our car there for however many hours we paid for. If you want a more relaxing or calming dinner experience, I highly recommend that you go to the Ice Plant Bar. And so because it was a bar, I really thought it was going to be very loud, kind of crowded, maybe somewhat obnoxious, and we were just going to go there for some drinks. But whenever we showed up, I realized it was actually a fancier kind of bar. So Grace and I did end up getting food there. We also got drinks. Grace got an alcoholic drink. She got the Virtual Insanity. So her Virtual Insanity had vodka, gin, ube, bee pollen, and lemon. Then I ordered a non-alcoholic drink. I ordered the Grace Jones, and the Grace Jones had papaya, honey, watermelon, cardamom, lime, and soda. And I really liked my drink. It was very tropical. It was very refreshing after having a long day walking around, going to the beach, the tour, downtown. And I honestly would rate my drink a 9. It was kind of sour though, just because of lime, and then it even had like a little somewhat dried lime or lemon on my drink, and so I ate it and it was so sour. And then for food, we ordered the pork belly sliders and the fish dip, and the fish dip came with kettle chips. I'd say for the pork belly sliders and the fish chips, I'd give it about a 7 or 8 just because I feel like they there wasn't really anything special about it. It was very good, I will give it that, but there wasn't any kind of wow factor for it. So maybe I'll give it an 8, not a 7, because it was good, so an 8. And those are pretty much all the events that we had for our first full day in St. Augustine. So the next day started kind of early. We went to the Lightner Museum. We showed up around, I think, 10 o'clock. So there weren't a lot of people there, and we went on a Sunday. So I don't know if that affected the low crowd, maybe. So that's why I highly recommend that you go early in the morning, just because when we went, there was little to no people there. The Lightner Museum is a museum full of different hobbies. They have musical instruments, they've got dead butterfly collections, they have seashells, bikes, old furniture. And then the coolest part about this Lightner Museum is the fact that there used to be a giant pool in there. And so the structure where the pool was is still there, there's just no water in it. And so pretty much this pool is not just a regular in-ground pool. The bottom floor was actually the pool. The very first floor, whatever is underground, is the pool. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like if you have 3 levels of a hotel or whatever, the first level is a pool. They literally just filled the first level with pool water. And even now you can still see where the deep end was and where the shallow end was, which I thought was really cool. So we were actually able to walk on that platform and it was pretty huge. And now it just turned into a Lightner Museum cafe, so you can eat down there and grab a bite. I think we spent about an hour and a half to 2 hours in this museum because there's just so much to look at. And then each artwork or furniture had like a little description of what it was called, who made it, and what time period it came from. So definitely if you go to the Lightner Museum, make sure you go check out the empty pool because that was really cool. And now if you're a chocolate lover, I highly recommend that you go to the Whetstone chocolate tour. Hopefully that's how you pronounce it. On this tour, we tried 5 different chocolates, learned about the process of making chocolate, and we took a little tour of the chocolate factory where they made the Whetstone chocolates. And they have this one chocolate that they let us try. It's called the artisan chocolate piece, and pretty much every day it's a different sample that they let us try. And for our day that we went, it was an orange chocolate sample. And I actually think that's my favorite one out of all 5 chocolates that we tried because it was the most different. And then my second favorite would obviously be the white chocolate because I love white chocolate. And then after you do the chocolate tour, this isn't really a thing to do, but more like a bonus. But if you leave the chocolate tour and you turn right, if you go around the corner of the building, there's going to be a painting of angel wings on a different building. I think that's how close it is, if I'm remembering correctly. But I took a picture in front of it and I realized that I'm kind of short for those angel wings because in the picture, I'm pretty sure the wings are supposed to be coming out of your shoulder blades, but then it starts looking like it's coming out of my neck because of how short I am. So if you're interested in getting pictures with wings, that's there. If you're more into nature activities, you can visit the Anastasia State Park. And I didn't take any videos or pictures at the state park because we actually weren't there for that long and we only did one trail, but there are 2 different trails that you could do while you're there. There's the Ancient Dunes Nature Trail and there's also the Marsh Trail, and we ended up doing the Ancient Dunes Nature Trail. It took about 30 minutes to walk and there isn't really a path. Well, there is a path and then they have little orange markings on like all the different woods so you don't trip over them. I ended up tripping on a lot of them, and I highly recommend that you wear tennis shoes. This should already be a known fact, but the day that we went to the Anastasia State Park, I was not prepared to go to the state park and hike a trail. So I was actually in a dress and I was wearing my Birkenstocks. It's actually the dress that I wore in the angel wings photos. And so you can imagine how unready I was for this walk. But luckily the shoes were still good to walk in. I think they might have contributed to me tripping a couple of times. I never actually tripped. I kind of just like stumbled a little bit. But yeah, definitely wear shoes. And if you aren't wearing shoes, whatever day you go to St. Augustine, just leave them in your car just in case. They also have a beach there at the Anastasia State Park. Grace and I just parked in the parking lot. We never actually went to the beach. And if you are deciding to go to the beach, I guess you could go to this one, but I just want to let you know that to get into the Anastasia State Park, you do have to pay, and Grace and I had to pay $8. And so we kind of just walked the trail. And if you want to walk the trail and go to the beach, then it's probably going to be worth your money. But I personally think for 30 minutes that we were there, we kind of just drove around, walked for 30 minutes, and we had to pay $8 for it. So I don't know, just think about what you want to do there before you decide to pay the fee. If you're more into spooky activities, I recommend that you do one of the ghost tours that they offer around the city. St. Augustine is claimed to be the oldest city in the US, so you know that there's going to be a lot of stories to tell. And so Grace and I did do a ghost tour. We actually did the Lighthouse ghost tour. It's called the Dark of the Moon ghost tour, and it was about an hour and a half long. And so on our tour, the only light we could have was our glow sticks, and of course we have our phone on us, so if you want to use a flashlight you can, but probably don't use it during storytelling, so that way other people in the tour with you can enjoy the experience. And those glow sticks are actually pretty bright whenever you're in a room full of people that have the glow sticks. And so on this ghost tour, we got to take a tour of the keeper's house. We heard some stories in the keeper's house, and then we also got to walk up 219 steps to get to the top of the lighthouse. And it honestly wasn't that bad. I think around the halfway point, or like the 70% of the way up point, I started getting tired, but I made it through. Grace and I were actually the first ones to get to the top, and there was someone waiting up there for us, and Grace was actually the first one to get get there, and so he kind of scared her, but I thought that was kind of funny. But I would definitely say that walking up the lighthouse was the coolest part of the entire tour. The stories were kind of interesting, but the lighthouse was definitely the best part, and it was kind of scary with how high we were though, because Grace's glow stick actually fell off her neck when we got up there. At first I was like, did a ghost do that? But obviously not. So she said that it kind of just fell off and she didn't tie it correctly. And then the last thing isn't really an activity to do, it's more so where we stayed. So the hotel or motel that we booked was actually the Smart Stay Inn. I didn't take any videos or pictures of this place either, so I just found some pictures on the internet, and this is pretty much what it looked like. It's kind of old. I'm glad they at least painted the outside to make it look welcoming, but the insides were definitely old, and whenever we came in, it kind of just smelled old and dusty. It's like the room was clean, but no one had slept in it for a while. But it was sleepable, it was cheap, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. I think next time if I go to St. Augustine, I'll probably find a different place, but if I can't find another reasonably priced accommodation, then I might just stay here again, because it really wasn't that bad. People were nice. It comes with breakfast. What else can you ask for? I'd say for the Smart Stay Inn, I'd give it an overall 7 out of 10, just because they could have updated the furniture a little bit and the smell could have been nicer. Other than that, it was fine. So these were all the activities that I did while I visited St. Augustine, and these are the activities that I also recommend for you to do if you ever go there too. And so before the video ends, comment down below your favorite vacation location. Alrighty, I'll see you in my next video.